Okay guys, today we're going to do day 3 or lesson 3, and it's angles in a circle. And we will start off our lesson talking about central angles. So a central angle is an angle in which the vertex of the angle is at the center of the circle. So if you look here at our angle, the vertex of that angle is at the center of the circle. So here's our angle. And then we have this part of the circle on the outside directly across from your angle, and this is called an arc. And what you need to know about a central angle is the measure of the central angle is equal to the intercepting arc. Okay, so whatever this angle measure is the same measure of this intercepting arc. So you just follow the legs of the angle out to find the intercepting arc. So for our first example, it asks us to find the measure of arc AB. So the lowercase m represents measure, and then AB is our arc. So I like to kind of color that in so I know what I'm looking for. And again, they've given us the central angle here at the center of the circle. This is the intercepting arc, so we would say the measure of arc AB is also equal to 100 degrees. In example 2, it asks us to find the measure of arc ACB. So go in the same order that they gave it to you, ACB. So we're looking for all of this part. So in this case, I know this angle is 40 degrees, so its intercepting arc is 40 degrees. There's 360 degrees in that whole circle, so for me to find the measure of arc ACB, I'm simply going to take 360 and I'm going to subtract off this 40 for 320 degrees. Now something I want to add real quick is there's two types of arcs. There's a minor arc and a major arc. So in a minor arc, it measures less than 180 degrees. And in a major arc, it measures more than 180 degrees. Forgot my than there. Sorry. So if we go back to example 1, if this is 100 degrees, this is going to be a minor arc. And at 320 degrees, this would be a major arc. So just a little extra piece of information there for you. Okay. So next, we're going to work on a circle graph they've given us. So it says the accompanying circle graph shows how the Marino family spends its income each month. So it's got it broken out for you. You can see mortgage was 40%, insurance 10%, food 25%, utilities 20%, and auto 5%. So it says what is the measure in degrees of the central angle that represents the percentage of income spent on food. So here's our food at 25%. It asks for it in degrees. So there's two different ways that you could do this. You could set up a proportion. So we could say the whole circle adds up to 100%. So we could say 25% out of 100% is equal to how many degrees out of 360 degrees in a circle. We would cross multiply. So that would give me 100x equals 9,000 divided by 100, and x would be 90 degrees. So you could set it up with a proportion, or you could simply say the food represents 25% of the 360 degrees of, meaning multiplying math. So we could do 360 times 0.25, and that's also going to give you that 90 degrees. Example B says if Mario's family spends $1,200 a month, how much money does his family spend on utilities? So if we go up and we see that utilities is 20%, you could do the same way. You could set up a proportion, so 20 out of 100% is equal to how much money out of the total $1,200 a month. Again, cross multiply, so we would get 100x equals 24,000 divided by 100, and we would get x is $240. Or you could say the utilities represents 20% of the $1,200 a month, so we could say 1,200 times 0.20 to get $240. So two different ways there that you can solve that problem with the circle graph. And our next example is actually a word problem. It's talking about the circumference of a tree trunk. So it says the circumference of the trunk of a tree to be decorated is 16 inches. Okay, so let's write that down. So our circumference is 16 inches. You have 9 inches of garland to wrap partially around the tree. So we got 9 inches of garland. What is the arc angle of the trunk that you will decorate? Okay, so the part that's going to be decorated. So let's give ourselves a visual of our tree trunk. So all the way around is 16 inches. So if you think about it, if I started right here, and go with a different color here, I'm going to wrap my garland. If I've got 9 inches, it's going to be a little more than half. Okay, so I'd have enough to reach about that far. And it says, what is the angle that will be decorated? So we're actually looking for this angle here. So again, I'm going to set up a proportion thinking about part over whole. So I know that I have enough garland, so I have 9 inches out of the 16 inches to decorate. And if I'm looking for that angle, that's some angle out of the 360 degrees total in the circle. So I'm going to say x degrees over 360. Cross multiply. So we're going to get 16x equals, that's 3,240. When we multiply 9 times 360, we'll divide, and that's going to give us 202.5 degrees.